I'm here.
Let's get into the top of this list for each of you. Stephen A. Smith, who is on your NBA Mount Rushmore?
The first three choices are easy for me.
Okay.
I've got Michael Jordan. I think he's the greatest of all time. I've got LeBron James. I think he's number 2 all time.
Okay.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one in high school, one in college, went to the pros, ended up being a 6-time champion, a 6-time league MVP, a 19-time All-Star, and the all-time leading scorer in NBA history with over 38,000 points. When I look at that, and not only that, he's the only individual in the history of the sport who's ever had one unstoppable move. Like we saw Jordan with the fadeaway and all of this other stuff. We see Kobe in the J. We see Kobe. We see Steph Curry in his jump shot. But I'm talking about one move. I'm talking about fake, right?
Over the left shoulder.
Over the left shoulder. Everyone knows every single game, and more than 95% of the time, that's how Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is going to shoot. That's the same exact shot that he took for 20 years. He's retired and no one can still stop it. He's retired and no one has still figured out how to stop the skyhook.
Yeah.
It's just nothing to say. And so when you look at it from that perspective, combined with the fact that like Russell and Jim Brown and other cats, he was there with Ali. He was in the heart of the civil rights struggle. He was taking positions and all of that other stuff. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, you're bringing it all. Everything.
No. I'm just saying the adversity. But I noticed the first thing I did was his basketball.
Yeah, I get it. Yep.
But he did all of that in the midst of all of that. That's third. Those are 3 automatics for me. I thought about Russell. I thought about the era that he played in and how it was really just Wilt Chamberlain, and he had a slew of dudes, even though he's an all-time champion with 11 rings. Thought about Kobe. For me, it was Magic Johnson.
Okay.
And here's why. Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard in the history of basketball. I changed my mind on this because once upon a time I had Russell on my list. I changed my mind on this. Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard in NBA history. Magic Johnson made the NBA transcendent. It extended it to another level. It brought it on national television. It was because of Magic in combination with Bird, and more so Magic, because Larry Bird was the hick from French Lick, and he was a white dude that could really, really ball and had mad respect from all the brothers, the players, et cetera, et cetera. But because of what was going on in the NBA at that particular moment in time, brothers weren't allowed in your room now, in your home. They weren't welcomed. You see what I'm saying? Magic changed all of that. That magnetic smile, that personality, and then Showtime basketball. You know what? It was him that that helped Kareem. Worthy, Byron Scott, Norm Nixon before that, Michael Cooper coming off the bench. Magic was just a show. I mean, he made the NBA marketable. And if it were not for Magic, what would MJ had what would he have had to inherit? What would Kobe and Shaq and Vince Carter and others had to inherit? Magic did that. And so when I think about what Magic did on the court, when I think about what a champion and a leader he was, and then when I think about the magnetic attraction he made the NBA into being, that's why it was so apropos that even though he was out of the game, that they brought him on to be a part of the dream team in Barcelona, because you knew there would have never been an NBA in Barcelona if it wasn't for what Magic did for the NBA. And that's where my list comes into play.
See, I hate this argument because what we're doing right now is we're talking about the upper elite, the pantheon of the greatest to ever do it. So I feel like if you don't pick somebody, it diminishes, and I don't think that's the case, right? So I just want to pay respect to everybody's name who's even mentioned in this breath.
That's right.
For the Mount Rushmore of basketball players. So I am in alignment with you with MJ, LeBron, and Magic. Even though I disagree with you, I would have LeBron James as the #1 player of all time. And that's fine. That's a debate for another day.
We ain't doing
and I've
that.
been sitting,
And
I will die on that hill.
And so will I about MJ. Compared to LeBron, absolutely.
I don't want to change this argument, but that's, so LeBron, MJ.
Right.
Can we put up my list, please, so we can see it? And then when you get into Magic, but I have Kobe beating Bryant. And the reason why I have Kobe beating Bryant, 5 rings in 7 finals appearances. 5 NBA titles. Now, in order to break down Kareem, because all the stats that you threw out there, Stephen A, were off the charts. 5 of those rings he won of the 6, he had Magic Johnson on his team.
That's true.
Okay,
3 of
5.
Kobe's were with Shaq.
Yep. The other 2 were not by himself. Let me get to my point now. 5, and by the way, the addition, James Worthy, top 50 greatest player of all time, got Finals MVP in one of those, right? So that team, I feel like it doesn't diminish Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, incredible, but still stacked teams, right? I get it. Michael Jordan got one with Scottie Pippen, top 50 greatest player of all time, right? All of his rings. Same with Kareem, with the exception of 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to Kobe beating Bryant, and I start saying, okay, got 3 with Shaq, but he got 2 on his own now. Now, he had that with Paul Gasol. He had some other really talented, Andrew. But like, think about the breadth, and Paul Gasol is a bad boy. He's a heck of a player. But think about the levels to this, right? We're saying Magic, James Worthy, Kareem. We're saying Scottie Pippen, MJ. I think Paul Gasol, he's not in that level. He's here. He's still really good, but he's not in that upper pantheon as it relates to players. So for me, and Magic's in that conversation too. Magic's on my list. I give Kobe that slight edge. Now, I know the rings, all that, MVPs, all that might be different because I think that's a reflection of times and his contemporaries. But I have Kobe in my top 4 Mount Rushmore players of all time.
Couple of things. When we talk about giving cats respect, even though we wouldn't put him on the Mount Rushmore, let's give Isaiah Thomas
1,000%.
one of the greatest. Michael Jordan himself calls Isaiah Thomas the 2nd greatest point guard in the history of basketball.
I'm with you.
And Isaiah Thomas, to his credit, beat most of the people that we're talking about him going
Yes, he
against
did.
with inferior players as well. We left him off the list. Okay? So, again, your point is valid, but the point is there were other people. Kobe ain't the only one suffering from being off some people's list. There are others like Isaiah Thomas and others that could make that same argument in terms of what they won. They had lesser talent than the guys that we mentioned, et cetera, and they're not being recognized. So that's number 1. Number 2, what would Shaq and Kobe have done together? I think we all know what they would have done. At least a few more rings. Kobe has something to do with that separation. I love my brother. God rest his wonderful soul. I told him this to his face. He got something to do with that. Yeah. He got something to do with the separation that him and Shaq had, and he did it for his reasons, et cetera, et cetera. We respect that, but that's a fact. Now, we also got to take into account, let's look at the league for a quick second here. When you were Kobe, and you went to those three finals, and you won the chip, well, you beat Orlando. Dwight Howard, I'm trying to remember who the hell, Jameer Nelson, a few other guys that was on. You beat them, okay? LeBron and Cleveland weren't ready. They got taken out by Tito Turkoglu and all of those boys. The white, LeBron and them lost to them. Boston comes down the pike, okay? You lost to them beforehand in 2008. That's KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Rondo's first year together, okay? Really, the only other team you have to concern yourself with was San Antonio. If we're thinking about it. I mean, I know Dallas was in the mix. I know Dallas was in the mix with Dirk Nowitzki, but it was Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Terry and Age and Jason Kidd, stuff like that. You looked at Tim Duncan, you looked at Manu Ginobili, you looked at Tony Parker and those guys. So what I'm trying to say to you is that when we think about the league and what Jordan had to go through, when we think about what Magic had to go through, I mean, we got to take that into consideration,
I agree.
too.
But is there something to be said that the fact that Magic, James Worthy, and Kareem were all on the same team?
Yeah, but there is something more to be said about the fact that you're in L.A., which has tremendous distractions. and somehow, some way, Magic dominates a decade. A decade.
Yes.
So when I'm looking at Magic and I'm thinking about what he brought to the table, okay, I'm sitting there going like this. You make a very compelling argument to easily elevate Kobe to the top 10, But what I'm saying is when you talk about Magic and Kobe on your Mount Rushmore, that top 4, we gonna leave out Kareem for both of them? For both of them? I mean, somebody got to sacrifice, Jay. Somebody got
I know,
to
that's what makes this thing so hard.
That's right. Somebody got to sacrifice, Jay. You can't have both of them ahead of Kareem. Well, one of them, yeah, but not both. Not both. And that's where I think you lose your argument because of Kareem. I can't put both of them over Kareem.
Take out any order. I'm just saying.
I'm not talking about order. I'm saying that you got 4.
I know,
you got
but
4 spots. You're not moving MJ and LeBron, right? And so
No.
the point is,
So we have 2 slots left.
I'm saying you got Magic, Kobe. You can't
and Kareem.
take both of them ahead of Kareem.
First off,
Both of them?
What's it say about 4 out of 5 players we're talking about are Lakers?
Yeah.
Wow.
It says they love LA. Because they were
What's
also,
not-
other than Kobe, I mean, Magic and Kobe were there.
What's
but
not to love about LA? I'm sorry that you were not out there for the Super Bowl. I sincerely apologize to you about that because I know it was very painful, but you had to do NBA Countdown. You did your job. You did well. I just want to tell you that from a fan perspective, since you said the fans' opinion matter. I just want to tell you that as a fan. Anyway, back to my point. It's just, there's something about the fact that Magic got him and James Worthy apart 5 of those 6 championships with Kareem, and Magic's in that he's on the Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I know it doesn't diminish.
Okay. Well,
Kareem,
let me ask
but
you this question.
Regardless of how Kobe and Shaq broke up, Kobe still got one on his own without
Then
Shaq.
why didn't you take Magic off and put Kareem there? I said one. I didn't tell you which one. I said both of them cannot be ahead of Kareem with Kareem's basketball resume. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Both of them can't be. Magic won a national title at Michigan State. I understand that. Kobe didn't go to college. He went straight to the pros. He would have went to Duke.
He
would have went to Duke.
Please help me.
There you go.
I don't know.
I know,
Kareem,
exactly.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. You can't do
Magic,
it.
I don't know what to pick.
You can't find a basketball aficionado that
You know
would
what
put
you do?
both of them ahead of Kareem.
You know what you
They
do when
pick
you're
one of them,
making a
but not both.
difficult decision? You go with your first choice. You go with your visceral
I
reaction.
gotta go with Magic. I mean,
So what was your first choice? When initially came, if I said, give me your top 5 right now, what comes to mind? That's your top 5. It's not when you're hemming and hawing and thinking about reasoning
my
out.
top 5 is just that. I mean, it's Magic. It's Michael, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, and Kobe.
Okay, so own it.
It's top 5, but we're
Stick your
it's
chest out.
4
Feel
though.
good
It's
about
the
it. Don't
4.
let him sway you.
I know, but it's the 4.
It's a beautiful. You can't change the argument, Molly, because there's only 4 on Mount Rushmore.
4.
No. But I'm not getting on you. I understand your troubles. I really do. What I'm saying to you is this. I'm simply asking, and I got my man, my brother Michael Thompson, Klay Thompson's daddy
What's
that
he
works for
say?
ESPN. No, he's
What's
a
up,
Wilt
Michael?
Chamberlain lover and all. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Hey, it's
I don't
hard
blame him.
that
But it's
way.
only 2 chips. I'm holding that against Wilt. Here's the deal. Again, I'm not asking you which one. I'm simply asking you as a former National Player of the Year, a baller. I'm simply asking the question, can you justifiably leave 2 or put 2 guys on the list that are Lakers ahead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Can you do that?
That's what makes it so
Can you do that? You can't do that. You gotta pick one. I don't care which one. You gotta pick
I need
one.
to go back to something earlier because we kind of glossed over it because I didn't want to interrupt the debate. You have LeBron as your greatest of all time. Is
Yes,
that what
I
you
do.
said? Over Michael Jordan.
Yes, I do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that another day.
Yes.
Wow.
He knows this.
Michael Thompson.
I didn't know
I've said
that.
this.
Michael
a
Thompson, I
multitude of
remember
times.
Wilt. I remember Wilt, but he's a Kareem fan.
Is he coming at
too.
you right now?
No, he's not coming. He just texted me. But he's a Kareem fan too. All I'm saying to you is this: 19-time All-Star,
I know.
all-time leading scorer, the only player in the history of basketball with one definitive move he did 95% of the time that nobody could stop. And on top of it all, 6-time champion, 6-time league MVP. I'm just saying, I can't leave Kareem off for both
I have
of
to
them.
admit to you, Stephen A., I am infatuated with Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
That probably factored into my
Then take off
bias.
Magic. Then take off Magic.
I can't.
See what I'm saying?
I can't do that. No, I can't.
So,
That's showtime.
Right.
I
got it.
I can't look you in the eyes of real
I got
basketball
it.
That's
hooper
fair,
man
though.
and
We
say
all
that.
have our people.
All I'm trying to say to you is Magic and Kobe
You gotta pick one.
will go like this. That damn resume of Kareem.
Man,
Shaq.
the resume is
Shaq is as confident as anybody you'll ever find in his basketball prowess and his stature within the
All-time leading
game.
scorer.
He would defer to Kareem.
Yeah.
He's never put himself against Kareem.
Okay.
It's Kareem.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just like,
You're right.
somebody got to come off.
You're right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so torn.
We're out of time. When
I
we
don't blame
come back
you.
on
I am
the
too.
first take, do you remember when the